back to the Zone Friends. Today we're joined by
Hey,
our friend
hey.
Hermy. So Hermy, I wanted to touch on what you do for a living. I heard you do e-commerce. Could you like explain how that all came to be?
I basically around like 2 years ago, I met one of my good friends now through a friend, and we went to like Tony C's and started talking.
Right.
And then I asked him about like what he does like for a living and stuff like that, because he was around my age. He looked like he was doing really well for himself, and he pretty much like was just his own boss. And I asked him, hey, what do you do? And he goes like, oh, I'm a digital marketing agency owner at the moment, but I started with e-commerce. And this is basically what e-commerce is. E-commerce is basically selling goods online, but there's another business model through e-commerce called drop shipping, and that's basically how he started. And once he explained everything to me, it just clicked right away. Like that's what I wanted to do, and it was just very weird because I was already in my third year of college, and that shit made me to want to drop out instantly, which I did not end up doing because I live in a Haitian household, so I still had to muscle through that shit.
So is this similar to Shopify?
Yes, Shopify is actually the platform we use to launch these brands. So,
Oh, okay.
and we use the dropshipping business model. Basically, dropshipping is being able to connect with suppliers and manufacturers like all over the world. Most of them are based out in China, and you partner with them. You basically put their products on your website as yours. You brand it. You make everything look nice, and every time, and you drive traffic through your store through paid advertising. It could either be through Facebook ads, Snapchat, Instagram, Pinterest, etc., or TikTok, and you bring those traffic to your site. And once you get a purchase, uh, you basically send that purchase to your supplier, and they ship it directly for you. The good part about it, your supplier will give you a wholesale price, and you'll mark it up at your price, literally whatever you want to sell it as. So basically, I can get this wallet right here for $3, and I
Right.
could price it at 19.99,
If you
and
wanted.
if I wanted to, and I brand it, like take super nice pictures of it, like make it look like super high value, and then sell it. And every time someone's buy, I buy it at wholesale price, ship it to them, and I keep my profit. That's how it goes. But I do it on a much larger scale now.
And,
Yeah,
um,
no cap, no cap. Like this is what all bigger businesses do. Like basically, you go out to go up to a country that manufactures a lot cheaper,
Yep.
and then you sell for regular market value in your country.
Yep. And you want to know something funny? Even fucking Apple, I ordered like a MacBook. That shit's coming from China. Like it's gonna get to me in 2 weeks, bro. Like I looked at the FedEx tracking because I upgraded it to a lot of shit, and they had to prep that shit in China to send to me. Like that's all crazy because a lot of people tend to associate like China with just like cheap quality. Yes, there is a lot of cheap quality, but you could also produce high quality products over there. So it just depends on what you're selling. But almost everything you have is probably made over there. That's just how the world is running now.
and your cousin, he runs this business with you?
Yes, we decided to partner in January of 2019. So I've learned about dropshipping around December, like the 30th or the 31st. And like I told you, I took action right away. Started it, basically struggled a little bit. I didn't know what I was doing because I was literally just like, at first, like that's something people should never do. Whatever you're going to do, always try to cut the learning curve as much as you can by either getting like a credible mentor or courses you could follow. If you're gonna try to muscle it through your own, you will learn it eventually, but the money you will lose in that learning process will be 10x what you could have paid for a course or to learn from a mentor. And we basically made that mistake to the start. So I basically went up to him and said, "Hey, I see you're doing something similar. We should partner up." And he said,
Right.
"Yeah." Like that's how chill he was. He was like, "Yeah, why not?" Because what we realized at that moment, I was still in college, paying for UMass out of pocket, so that was draining me like every single semester. And we figured out if we partnered, the cost could be split. So instead of me spending $100 for the day, it would be 50-50. So it was just like a lot easier to do that way.
Mm,
Plus the workload would significantly like diminish. Like I could give them customer service and I deal with fulfillment or vice versa. So it just made things run a lot smoother. And we realized that's probably the best thing we could have done because right now, as we're scaling, it's like we already need to bring in more help as we have one virtual assistant and he's already getting overworked. So that's how things are running right now.
damn, that's that's so basically it's the same workload. You just split it between two people.
Yes.
They made your lives a lot easier by doing that.
Oh yeah. And then like basically like we have a little bit more freedom. For example, he just went away for 3 days. He was able to just go there and relax. I could just take over and not have to worry about anything. Or when he goes away for his army training, because he's in the reserve, I'm able to just take over and do everything 100% by myself with no issues. But before he had to shut down his whole store and back in the days to be able to spend that weekend over there.
Damn, wow. That's like really eye opening. But you touched on how you live in a Haitian household. I wanted to ask you, how was the transition between coming to America and then acclimating to American culture from Haiti?
Um, Honestly, I've never told anyone that, like, or really like went over that. It was quite stressful to be quite honest. Yeah, like I came to a different country. I've always wanted to live here, but the way we moved here was just like different. Because I always planned on coming here and being an international student, but circumstances prevented that, and we all had to fully move here because my parents had a business, and basically, once you have that in Haiti, you're targeted, and then basically all our lives were constantly at risk. And my dad just pulled the trigger, and we just moved here. So when that happened, instead of being the international student that his dad would take care of him from Haiti, we all moved here and had to start from scratch, from literally zero. And I remember seeing my mom cry that first day because she just turned 50 and moved to a whole new country, didn't speak a lick of English, and was literally asking herself like, fuck, like what's next, you know? And so basically I just like always put that fake smile on my face, like going to school, seeing like and going to Everett High, it was just like even like a little bit harder too because um the friend group I had, like when I first, it was just like it felt like I wasn't the type to kiss ass, and it felt like that's what they wanted, and I was not ready to provide all that. So I was pretty much like always by myself, or with that like that small Haitian group of friends I had.
Accents.
But I've only be able, yeah, I basically only be with them for a couple classes, and that'd basically be it. So the majority of the time, I'd be by myself and like in the hallway just walking, or I'd find some hobbies to do. Um, but it was just weird in general. It was just colder, very cold actually. I never knew once my it could really get this cold. I remember my
I
first
think
day
I'm
of
preparing you
snow.
for that.
I went in the snow with Chuck Taylors to go to school, and you can imagine the story. Like I could not feel my toes by the time I got to the bus stop. I thought I lost my foot completely. I was just like, wow. But overall, we adapted. I came here. I already spoke a little bit of English because I did go to an all-American school back home, so all my credits transferred here. They did try to push me back to sophomore year. I was like, fuck that. Like whatever test you want me to take, I'll take it. And then I
Wait, you
aced
came
it.
here as a senior, right?
Yes.
And they try to put you back 2 years?
Yep. Yeah. I
No.
was I was
I
speaking to
took
the
30.
lady. Literally, I'm like, dude, that's 2 years. I'm not doing that. So
Wow.
They always be trying to do that to people.
they did that to a couple of my boys, and they did it. Like I'm like, dude, like just take the test. So I take all the tests. I even placed, I think, for AP English, but I decided to take honors because I didn't want to do all of that work.
Yo, no,
Um,
I feel you on that. That sounds like me right there.
oh, you did take AP, huh?
No, I mean like I could have taken a lot of AP classes, but like I just took some and then mostly honors because all that work was just not worth it for me. But coming out
Yeah,
of
I
high
feel
school,
you.
what did you initially want to do?
Um, Honestly, I just wanted to work until I raised enough capital to start my own business. I didn't really want to go to college at first, but then that was just like, like that was a non-negotiable at my house. So basically, I had to start something. I just went there and chose accounting because out of everything I researched, that was the only thing I felt like I could do, because they wanted me to be a nurse. I can't see blood. I can't see an open wound. Like I'll legit pass out.
Sounds like
So
Mm.
so that was literally out of the equation. I wanted like, and I was like, I wanted to be a pharmacist. I took that in high school and I wanted to drop it that same week, but they would not let me drop it because that class had no one in it. So that made me hate it even more. So I was like, accounting is probably the only safest like choice I have right now. And I went in there and then basically took accounting and then went on with it. But I had a minor in business management as well. So overall, I just picked whatever like was closer to business. And since I knew at that time, accounting would always be needed. Like you'll always need accountants, no matter what you do, no matter what types of business. Even if you don't own a business, you need accountants.
So I just have a quick question, just because me, I remember it was just a weird day because I remember seeing you like my junior, senior year walking in the hallways of UMB, and I'm like, yo,
Mhm.
wait, you go here? I never really got a chance to like actually ask you like I know you went to college for accounting, but did you end up like switching there? Because I remember one point I used to see you and I never saw you again.
Oh yeah. So I mean, originally I started at Bunker Hill, so I
Hmm.
transferred from Bunker Hill to UMass. So that's probably why you didn't see me the first 2 years.
Hmm.
But then I think after that first year you saw me, I took a lot of online classes. So so technically, if I was still in college, I would be ready for like that whole pandemic thing. I chose all online classes because I felt like a lot of the classes they were making me take, it was a waste of my time to be in that class. The teachers would open a PowerPoint slide, they would read it word for word, literally, and whatever question I would have, I wouldn't have enough time because the PowerPoints are so long. And I felt like if I'm going to teach myself, I can teach myself from home. I don't need to drive 30 minutes through rush hour, like the morning rush hour, pay $10 for parking, rush to class, you know. eh, that's probably why you didn't see me often.
that's actually
Nah, bro,
interesting to do.
it's really good. Bro, I remember when I was there, I was forced to take one because of the hybrid class. I ended up taking 9 more before I graduated.
9 more
Just because,
online.
Damn.
yep, because it was so convenient and there was like I remember it was like my junior senior year. If it wasn't classes that pertained to me, I was really on my phone. Everything else I taught myself.
You know what was the secret back then? It's not now though. Now they still give you the same amount of work. Back then, online classes, you actually do less work.
Hmm.
Like you still get the same amount, like you still learn the same amount of content, but it's just less homework. And then but then since it's really just one homework a week, you could do 2 3 homework in advance and be free for the next couple of weeks. At least that's what I used to do.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir. He
so I had
knows.
so I always had a lot of free time.
And I feel you. I was talking like because my sister just entered college. Congrats to her. But she was telling me just because of COVID and like the pandemic, they the same exact workload they used to have is now the same online. It's twice the hassle. It was like I remember it was kind of like a trade off. Like you did things online, but because there could be technical difficulties, there was less work.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was really fun because all I had was like a homework that took me less than 30 minutes in one
Mhm.
discussion. I could literally read through everyone's answers and respond to it.
Yo, I
Like,
do the same thing for my discussion.
I think we're all the same people, just in different bodies. Like, I think everyone does that. I think it's really just 3 people that actually reads everything and then do it. But it's fun though. It's really fun.
So, do you regret going to college, or would you do it all over again if you could?
That's a really good question. I do feel like college wasted a lot of my time, and but yes, I do regret it. Yeah, yes, I do regret it.
Yep.
because what I realized, it was just what I've learned, right? That basically got me to the level where I'm about to own a brand that's a seven-figure brand. I basically paid the $3,000 for a mentorship to learn how to do that, you
Right.
know? And it's
Very
just,
important.
and and basically when I realized the amount of time I had to spend in college, I spent about 5 years because I was paying most of it out of pocket. So it was really hard for me to go every single semester full time, right? And then to see on top of that, I like to even make some real money in my field, I had to go take another test. So it just felt like the in reality, the whole accounting program could have been done in 2 to 3 years, realistically.
Yep.
They like basically they spread it into like 4 years, and realistically, not everyone can finish that in 4 years because so many classes, so many what's that called again? Like
Like,
Prereqs.
yeah.
credits, so many credits that they require, and it's not even realistic that you'll be able to get all of those in 4 years. Um, and basically, it took me a year taking this thing super seriously to make it work, and I'm able to duplicate that process through multiple different brands. I could I could use that same knowledge I have to help people grow, start, grow, and scale their other brands. Like big companies are looking for guys like me to do stuff like that for him, and they're willing to pay
Mhm.
me like the big bucks. Like I'm talking more than doctors. They will be willing to pay me that because their return on investment will probably be 10x that.
Right.
And that's when I realized that that whole time I was just like giving money away for free. Like even though like I've learned a skill, but like I've learned a skill that I knew I potentially would have never used in my life. I don't even think after I've gotten that degree I would use it because I was so business minded, that I was just like I need to own my own stuff and eventually grow to a point where like I'm content with it.
And you have
And
people working for you.
yes, and I wouldn't see it as like just people working for me. I just want to give people opportunities, and if some and basically once our brand is big enough to expand and hire people from the US and all that stuff, these people will get more out of working with me than working with everyone else because I would literally teach them the game. Like anyone that works for me, I would want them at some point to want to be able to go open their own stuff because that it's I'm not saying it's easy to do that with ecom, but there's a blueprint, and if you stick at it for long enough, it won't take you long till you start seeing some results
Mhm.
because it all comes down to science. Well, I'll give you an example. Like the industry average profit is 20 to 30%, right, off your revenue. So let's say you're making 150 like in sales per day.
Right.
That's 30 bucks a month, right? I mean 30 bucks a day times 30, that's 900 a month. That's an extra 900 per month. And the good part about ecom, your thing is running every single day. Like I might not work for that day, but it's still bringing me money every single day, 7 days a week. And you can build systems to free up your time. Like you go on Fiverr.com, you'll find a virtual assistant from India, and these guys are amazing, by the way. They're probably like one of the hardest workers I know. Like that guy, I pay him like $5-6 an hour. He frees like 6 to 7 hours of my day.
Damn. He
Like,
probably has like
you
multiple
know,
people that he's working for, right?
um, I don't think so at the moment because he's really working like almost 60 hours a week for us.
Yeah.
Like he wanted that, like because we're going to switch that process because we don't want them to get too sloppy. We don't want him to get too busy that he's too tired to do his job properly. But he wants to get the hours for now, and he basically works like eight 8 to 9 hours every day. He's but he's on a different time zone. I don't know how he wakes up during our time zone, but he still finds a way. But
Damn.
I'm
Well,
pretty sure
well,
he does work for other people because this dude would show me his set, like his working set from last year. It had every single Apple thing you could think of: Apple Watch, iPad, MacBook, iPhone, like everything. I'm like, dude, like you're making $5-6 an hour. Like
That's what I'm saying. So he's probably
Well,
that.
3 to 4 people.
Running it up.
Yep.
no, because the cost of living is so low over there. It
Yes.
makes sense. And another thing too, you're worried about like what time he gets up. Unless he's working with you during the day, which sounds like he's working overnight. That
Yes.
is very tough to do. Oh my god.
What kind of hours do you work?
When I first started, that's because I wanted to, because I really wanted to learn everything. I'd say I used to work like 8 to 12 hours, but they didn't quite feel like it. But then now, in reality, I probably work like 3 to 4 hours daily. Today, probably two. That's because we have systems. Before you can do that, you have to create systems like your customer service team, and all that stuff. And then how you bring your traffic, like your store, like fulfillment, all that stuff. Like once you have everything set up, all you have to do is to just do your checklist daily, check if everything's aligned, and that's it.
Damn.
But right now we've got it to a system where like I can get away with working 2 to 4 hours a day, which I don't like. I need to put in some more work in my plate. That's when you get too complacent, and I don't want to. I want to work as if like I was like broke and I was like making nothing. I just started and I was losing money daily. I still want to have that passion. I still have it, but it's just like sometimes when you can get away with that, you're like, I'm fine for the day. One day won't hurt,
Right.
and that can turn into weeks and months, and and basically make you go right back to zero again.
Damn. I didn't know how much. I mean, you make it sound easy, but I know it's not easy. Like you put a
No,
lot
it's
of
not.
work in behind the scenes and stuff. And I do think that you going to college and you being an accountant and stuff, it did help you financially with like the numbers aspect and stuff like that. And just
Yes.
being able to manipulate whatever you're doing and maximizing it for your own potential.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
do agree. Because I went into this, I was talking to my accountant. It is the funniest thing ever because I'm talking in like an accountant's language, like the forms I'm talking about, like everything I say, it makes sense to him. Where like he can literally not have to, make it sound like English sort of say for me, because
Right.
sometimes your account might be saying different stuff, or you need this form, that form, and they name the form and you get so confused. But like I basically know most of the tax law, at least for mass. And basically every time I go with them, it's basically like a 15 to 20 minute convo where we just go over stuff and then that's it. But I do not regret my degree. I just regret the time spent and just like how I felt like UMass was just wasting my time. And like like every time I had to take a dumb class, it just pissed me off. Because when you're paying out of pocket, it just hits different paying 2,000 for like for like a history class, but you're doing accounting. It's like yeah, I'd love to hear about history, but I can go on YouTube and do all of that. Like I don't need to pay and write papers. Like I'm not passionate about it. So, but I mean, it was fun. It was good. Like I did meet a lot of great people, made a lot of amazing connections over there. Um, but overall, if I could have switched, like if I could have skipped college, I feel like I could have been so far ahead with what I do. Like those last 2 years I spent, I had to I had to juggle through school, work, and my business, like trying to build it from the ground up. So I had to still learn how to do what I do, and then still go do like a couple pages, like go write a couple papers and study for an exam the next day. And I was working at a restaurant where like basically where like I work from like 5 to like close. So like that could be 11 or that could be 2 a.m. And I still had to be up at the same time as everyone else and still find time to learn everything I need to know about e-commerce. So it was just like very taxing on my body, where like I did lose a lot of weight. I was down a little bit like mentally, especially after like I got into like a little nasty car accident. So it was just like everything was just collapsing, and it felt like the whole world was just crashing, especially my last year where I just went to my dean and I was like, bro, I think I'm dropping out. I don't think I'm doing this shit no more. And he was like stop it. Like, and we went on a walk and we talked, and then I think that's how I finished the semester.
I,
But
I'm happy that you definitely mentioned that. I think a lot of people, what they always forget is that when people go through a grind, they only see the outcome. They don't see the mental struggle. They don't see you
Yeah,
sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night. They don't see you doing your research, like doing all
yeah,
the behind the scenes work.
yeah.
And so I'm happy you touched
And
on that.
because the other day was like the first time. I don't know if you guys seen it. I posted on Instagram like my results, right?
Yeah,
I did about $20,000 in revenue in one day, and that was not like my biggest revenue day though.
right.
I did that, and that was like the first time I was like, my cousin and I, we talked about it because we want to get into the educational space for e-commerce at some point, but we want to make sure we really know what we're doing and really teach people the right way and not be one of these scammer gurus that basically get people that get, emotionally attached to like that shiny object. When people see shiny object, they're like, oh my god, like so many people have asked me to teach them and they would pay me. I decline every single one of them. A, I don't have time for that, and B, I want to replicate that over and over again before I even like attempt to do that to you. I've seen that way too much online, and I want to be. My goal in life is to be, super rich at some point, but it won't be through exploiting people. I don't believe in that. So, but yeah, like just to touch, Irvin, just to touch based on what you said about like the whole grind. Um, a lot of people when they see me post that, like I've had some dumb DMs acting like it was luck, and like they don't know like what led to that. They just think it's like overnight. It's not overnight. It was like a lot of like grind, a lot like I lost a lot of sleep. Like I've tried so many different things, wanted to quit so many times until I was able to even achieve that. And a lot of people might be amazed by that. And that's still like nothing compared to what the big ballers in my industry are doing.
I feel
Like
you.
the Jim Sharks of the world, like like there's some big ballers out there like doing e-commerce, exactly what I do. And that's still nothing. And like I said, the reason we posted that is because we wanted to like kind of like get our feet wet to make people kind of notice us that they know what we do. So eventually, when we're ready to like maybe get into the educational space, it would be a lot easier. But then before we even do that, we'd give a lot of free value. We'd help a lot of people. Um, but still, overall, it was just still like I was scared. I don't know why I was scared to show that. I always thought like, oh, when I hit days like this, when I hit like crazy days like this, oh, I'm just gonna like just post it. And then when I hit it, I'm like, nah, I don't want to post it because I don't want people to
So
think I'm bragging or anything, which
Right.
I'm not. Like I'm just super happy and I want to share my thing, but people will confuse it as me, like like bragging and stuff. And that's probably one of the reasons where like I was so low key for so long.
Right.
But
I
No,
could
I
definitely.
completely feel on that. I think the reason why like we're afraid to like always post those is because the moment you show your accomplishments, all of a sudden you do get the haters, and then you have these people that want to like jump on the bandwagon at that point.
oh yeah,
And I think that's the messed up part because it's like I did all this to get here, and you think you can just jump on it right now and then expect the same riches that I got?
yeah.
Oh,
And
I
also
see
like
it all
some
the time.
oh yeah, but also some of those people they don't really want to learn how to do it. They just want the easy way out, as if I'm going to like take my time, build a brand for them, launch it and scale it. And it's like it doesn't work that way. Like I'm only doing you more harm than good. And basically with that thing with this business, so many people get into it like every day, but so many quit because they're not in here for the long run. They only want that short dopamine boost, like just to be like, oh shit, I'm selling shit online. But it's like you might see someone with like $1,000 in sale but they're negative 600. It's like numbers do lie. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, numbers do lie. But but I think the workaround around that is just to have a positive attitude. Like you wouldn't even like back then you wouldn't be able to tell if my cousin and I were having like a terrible day, terrible month. We just kept the same positive attitude. And a lot of it would be through him doing all his dumb videos. I recorded a lot of them. I'll
Listen
admit.
yourself, bro. That shit's bleeding by now.
Yo, you
Oh,
really
bet.
just put I really just put two and two together, bro. I did not know that. Yo, he has me dead on the book
No, I
every
knew it was Lorenz, but
single
I'm not gonna put him. I'm not
video.
gonna put him out there like that.
That's why I be sharing it. Like, yo, y'all be talking about my post, but this man, like, man, I'm glad for you.
This man
glad
is
for y'all.
something else.
His scalp is
It's
bleeding.
just like, and also like what I really love about him, it's like he's the type, he really doesn't care what people think. Like he takes that to the next level where he doesn't care. Like he'll put his glasses like under his nose, like picks up a book, put it upside down, and then make and talk about how you could save 15 minutes or more by switching to Geico. Like he will do stuff like that. Like
He's gonna get himself a Geico commercial. Just wait for it. He gonna get one.
like I don't doubt it, bro. I don't doubt it at all.
All right.
But I feel also,
Yep.
but before we wrap it up, I also wanted to give like a quick advice for anyone that wanted to get into like the e-commerce space.
Mhm.
There's a lot of free content out there on YouTube. You can literally Google the word e-commerce drop shipping, and you could find like so many content. And one thing to be on the lookout for, once you type in those keywords, you're going to be bombarded by so many gurus trying to sell you courses, trying to offer you the world. Do your due diligence. Do your due diligence. Do not just buy because some of these ads are really good. Like I'm telling you, I almost bought so many of them. They are really good. They can promise you the world, how they can take you from 0 to 100,000 in 30 days. Like that's very not realistic for a beginner. Go on YouTube, find a credible mentor. You could follow his YouTube channel. A lot of the credible ones, their channel is full of free value.
Right.
Literally, they'll literally have like a to Z step course, like on their YouTube channel, and you could literally follow it, get you started. And when you really want to take it to the next level, that's when I'd recommend you maybe get a course and do all that stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Hermy, I really appreciate this conversation you had. It was very honest. Unlike those Forex people, but we'll get to that later.
4XK, all that. 4XK, all that.
Thank you for joining us for this podcast. We
Yeah.
really enjoyed having you, and we just appreciate this whole entire conversation. And as for our viewers, I hope you guys learned a lot and were informed.